Peace and blessings to those who worship the Most High in spirit and in truth. Today, I want to touch on another method and tactic and trap of the enemy that we will call the difficulty trap. The difficulty trap is something that the enemy uses to try to make you quit before you achieve the blessings and opportunities that the Most High has for you. An example from Scripture, Isaac. There was a time where Isaac was in the land and he was digging wells. Those wells were being dug because they were meant to feed him and his family. The water in those wells helped them grow food. The water in those wells helped them wash tools and clothing. The water in those wells, it also fed their cattle. The water in those wells that they were digging, it sustained their life. It was a blessing and an opportunity that caused them to thrive. But what took place is that as Isaac was building those wells, some enemies came to fill the wells with mud and dirt so that the wells were no longer useful. Every time Isaac would build a well, somebody would come throw dirt in the well. Then he would build another one and somebody would come throw dirt in the well. That was a difficulty trap that the enemy was trying to set because it was Isaac's destiny to thrive in that land. It was his destiny to be great in that land. And in order for him to be great in the land and thrive in the land, he had to have those wells operational. The enemy knew this. So the enemy tried to bring a spirit of difficulty to Isaac as it pertained to him getting those wells dug. You see, there's a difference between the ups and downs of life and a difficulty trap that the enemy sets. We all know that things happen in life. There's ups and downs in life. Things happen in life like you get a flat tire. That happens in life. You lose a cell phone. Things like that happen in life. You have issues with your computer. Things like that happen in life. So I'm not talking about the regular, normal things that happen in life. I'm talking about those difficulty traps that are set by the enemy where it's back to back to back to back things happening. Things that should usually be easy to get done. Suddenly, it becomes difficult for it to get done. It's in those instances where the enemy is trying to set a difficulty trap for you because he wants you to quit before you achieve the blessings and opportunities that the Most High has for you in that situation. The best way I can explain it is by using this example. Let's say there's a post office near your house, and hundreds of times, a month, a year, you drive back and forth there. It's easy. There's only 2 or 3 stoplights that you have to stop at to get to the post office. There's never no issues with you getting to the post office. Hundreds and thousands of times you've gone to this post office near your house. But let's say the Most High tells you, this time whenever you go to the post office, I have a blessing of a $500,000 check, let's just say hypothetically, a $500,000 check waiting on you at the post office. You like, cool, you excited. You like, this is going to be easy. This is going to be smooth. I always go to this post office. All I got to do is just go through a few stoplights. I'm there in 5 minutes. I'm about to give me a $500,000 check, right? Guess what? Right after the Most High tells you to go to the post office to pick up that check, you go to your car, just like you've done hundreds and thousands of times before. All of a sudden, the tire's flat. You're like, okay, no problem. Well, I'll go ahead and just change this flat and make my way to the post office to get my $500,000 check, right? You go in the trunk to get the jack to set up to change the tire. All of a sudden, you notice the tire jack is missing and the spare tire is missing. But you just saw it in there a few days ago, so you're like, hold on. What happened to my tire jack and my spare tire? I just saw it in here a few days ago. You see? Now things is getting difficult for no reason. So you're like, okay, cool. All right, I need to get this $500,000 check. I'll take my son's bike. I'll just hop on his bike, ride up there. I don't care. I may look crazy. as a grown man riding a bike, but I'm getting to this $500,000 check. You go to the garage to get your son's bike, to take the bike there since the car is having issues that you can't fix at the moment, only come to find out the brakes on the bike is broken and the whole frame is broke. So as soon as you try to step on it, the whole bike just broke. So you like, hold on now, man, this ain't normal. It should not be this difficult just to go to the post office to get my $500,000 check. So you like, okay, I can't do the bike, I can't do the car, let me just walk. So you start walking your way to the post office to get your check. All of a sudden, the street that you always take to get to the post office is a whole bunch of police. It's a fire truck blocking the way. For some strange reason, it was like a 15-car pileup in the way. And now they waving you on that you got to do a detour and go all the way 3 miles up the road and take a detour to get around to go to the post office. You're trying to tell the police officer, look, I can just walk straight through here. I got somewhere I got to get to. And he's like, no, sir, you got to go all the way around and follow this detour. You see what I'm saying? It's a hypothetical example I'm using. It seems far-fetched, but this is how things can feel in difficulty traps. Whenever the enemy is setting a difficulty trap to try to block you from a blessing or opportunity, these are the type of things that take place. Just unusual, abnormal things that make something that has usually been so easy difficult. Because what the enemy wants you to do is just be like, man, you know what? This too much. It's too much going on. Let me just call the post office and tell them to hold it. Let me explain to them my car issues. Let me explain to them, that they got the street blocked off. I can't get through to come get the check. And then they tell you, hey, I'm sorry, sir. If you don't get here today to get this check, you ain't getting it. So now you understand why the enemy was working so hard to try to block you from getting to the post office to get that check, because there was a time limit on the blessing and the opportunity. And the enemy knows these things. That's why he worked so hard to try to set a difficulty trap for Isaac, but Isaac overcame. This is why he tries to set difficulty traps for those who worship the Most High in spirit and in truth, because it may not be a $500,000 check that you go into the post office to pick up, but there is riches and destiny and blessings and mercies and favor and success that the Most High has for you in this life and in the life to come. And the enemy is trying to put difficulty traps in your way to make you want to just be like, man, this too much. I'm not trying to deal with all that. I've seen these type of things happen. And it's usually when you've made the decision to take a step in the right direction. These difficulty traps usually get set right after you've made the decision to be serious and do something that will better yourself, that will better you for the kingdom, that will better you in your character, in your righteousness. I've seen stories of this whenever there were people that would come to be baptized, where we would set up a date for me to immerse them and baptize them. I've seen stories where mysteriously flights got canceled, cars broke down on the highway trying to get to the baptism. All sorts of stuff started happening before them getting to the baptism. And I've seen people that persevered and endured through it and still made their way because they really wanted to take that step and get baptized. They didn't let the enemy and his difficulty traps stop them from taking that step of righteousness that they knew they needed to take. There were others that they ended up succumbing to the pressure, canceled. And sadly, there's some situations where some of them weren't even alive by the next time I reached out to talk to them. So that could have been the enemy trying to stop them from being immersed and baptized, because the enemy knew the clock was ticking on their very life. And there they left this world without being washed by the water of baptism, which is a dangerous thing to do. So I can give you so many examples, but what we need to get understood is that this is a method. This is a trap. This is a tactic and tool of the enemy to set difficulty traps, to make things harder than they should be. Things that are usually easy, the enemy will try to make it hard. And what he wants you to do is miss that blessing and opportunity because you said, this is too much. Too much is going on. This must not be meant for me because it's too hard. I've seen people say things like that where they're like, man, too much is happening with this. It must not be for me. No, that's a sign that it is for you in some instances because the enemy is setting that difficulty trap. So what we have to do as those who worship in the Most High in spirit and in truth, we have to start looking at this as almost like a movie or a video game. Not from the instance that life is fake, but from the instance that you look at it as a challenge to overcome or something to get joy in. The difficulty traps of the enemy. Like, for example, there was a fight many years ago between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sugar Shane Mosley. And there was a couple rounds in the fight that was very difficult for Floyd. Sugar Shane even landed a couple hard blows that almost dropped Floyd. And the announcers, the crowd, everybody was like, oh, he almost dropped Floyd. It was a difficult thing. But here's what's funny, though. Whenever Floyd was getting hit with those shots and the fight got difficult, the whole time Floyd was smiling. While he's catching blows, almost getting knocked out, he's in the ring smiling. And Sugar Shane is trying his hardest, throwing all them blows, thinking he about to drop him, and he almost did. But Floyd smiled through all that. And later on in the fight, Floyd started tagging him and ended up winning the fight. So think about what kind of mindset does that take whenever the enemy is making things difficult and you just play right through it as if you play in a video game or watching a movie. Whenever you're watching a movie, you know that the character is going to overcome. Some of these movies, you already know that the character is going to win. You don't even have to watch the whole movie, but you do know they're going to face challenges throughout. But while you're watching the movie, you're not stressed or pressed about what's going to happen next. You know it's going to be challenges and difficulties for the main character, but that eventually they're going to win in the end. Whenever you play in a video game, you've never played no game where there wasn't opponents. The reason that video games are fun is because you constantly going against opponents. You constantly fighting other characters to win. And in video games, they have difficulty mode as well, to where whenever you turn on difficulty mode, it's a lot harder, but your character gets built up even more whenever you beat the game on difficulty mode. And that's how we got to look at this life sometime. You got to get to the point in your walk, whenever you see the enemy setting these difficulty traps, you like, I've seen this movie before. It's like Floyd. You put a smile on your face like, okay, I see the game we playing. I see what's going on. I already know what I need to do. I already know I need to keep digging my wells. I already know I need to find my way to the post office to get my $500,000 check. I already know this is a difficulty trap. I already see the play of the enemy. I already know that there's a blessing and an opportunity. All I got to do is just continue to play the video game of life and endure and knock off these opponents. All I got to do is keep going. All I got to do is keep going through these difficulty traps. But this is a method and a tactic and a tool of the enemy to set these difficulty traps. So whenever you have situations like this where it's back to back to back, things hidden, and something that should be so easy is being made difficult, understand this: you're not cursed. It's not that the Most High don't want you to rise. You got to look at it as a movie and like a video game, and you're the main character. And you are meant to get your blessings and opportunities out of these difficulty traps. Don't be like so many of those people who said, this must not be for me. It's too difficult. This is too much. Nah. Be like Floyd. Take those shots, but then give them shots right back. Be like the main character in that movie. Even though the game is on hard mode, you still destined to win. You still are going to get victory, success, and destiny in this life and in the life to come. So keep that in mind as you go through your journey and through your life as one who worships the Most High in spirit and in truth. Understand that the enemy sets difficulty traps. But the Most High has given you the power and the anointing to dominate and overcome all of those difficulty traps. All is well, so let it be. Yah reigns forever.